Let's begin by decoding a fundamental truth that often feels counterintuitive to the female heart. When we love someone, or even when we just really like someone, our instinct is to give. We want to be present. We want to answer the phone on the first ring. We want to make their life easier, to show them that we are reliable, loving, and open. We think, if I show him how much I care, he will feel safe enough to love me back. But inside the male brain, this overflow of availability often triggers the exact opposite reaction. It triggers a psychological mechanism known as the scarcity principle. But in reverse, think of it this way. Imagine you walk into a store and a salesperson immediately runs up to you, shoving a product into your hands, saying, "Please take this. It's free. I'm always here. You can have this whenever you want." Even if the product is high quality, your brain subconsciously devalues it. You wonder, why are they trying so hard to give this away? Is something wrong with it? Is it desperate? Now, contrast that with a store where the item is behind a glass case. You have to ask to see it. There is a waiting list. Suddenly, that same item becomes a prize. You want it more because it feels earned. Men operate on a dopamine reward system that is heavily fueled by the chase or the acquisition. Dopamine is not the chemical of having. It is the chemical of pursuit. When you are constantly contacting him, checking in, and making yourself fully available, you are effectively handing him the prize before he has even run the race. You are flooding his system with the reward before he has put in the effort. And here is the hard biological truth. When a man gets the reward without the effort, his dopamine levels drop. He doesn't feel that rush of excitement when your name pops up on his phone, because your name is always on his phone. He doesn't wonder what you are doing because you have already told him. The mystery, which is the oxygen of early attraction, suffocates. This is not about playing games. This is about understanding human nature. When you stop contacting him, you are not being mean. You are simply closing the open door policy. You are taking the item out of the bargain bin and placing it back behind the glass case. By stepping back, you are pressing the reset button on his dopamine system. You are creating the necessary space for him to wonder about you again. You are forcing his brain to shift from passive consumption of your attention to active curiosity about your absence. He cannot miss you if you never leave. He cannot crave you if he is constantly full of you. So if you have been feeling like you are doing all the work and he is just drifting away, realize this. Your silence is not an ending. It is the only way to restart the engine of his desire. The rubber band theory, now that we understand his need to earn your attention, we have to look at the dynamic that drives most women into a state of absolute panic. It is a concept made famous by relationship psychologist John Gray, but we are going to look at it through a deeper, more modern lens. It is called the rubber band theory. Imagine the connection between you and him is a rubber band. You are holding one end and he is holding the other. For a rubber band to have power, for it to have energy and tension, it needs to be stretched. There needs to be distance between the two ends. When that band is stretched, there is a magnetic pull, a desire to snap back together. That tension is what we call passion. It's that feeling of missing someone, of needing to be near them. But here's the pattern that traps so many women. When a man pulls away, which is a natural, cyclical need for him to regain his sense of autonomy, the woman panics. She feels the distance growing and her anxiety spikes. She thinks, he's leaving me, I'm losing him. So what does she do? She steps forward, she chases him. She sends the double text. She asks, is everything okay? She tries to close the gap. But physically, what happens to a rubber band when one side pulls away and the other side chases after it? The band goes slack. There is no tension. There is no energy. And most importantly, there is no pull for him to snap back to you. By chasing him to close the distance, you have accidentally killed the attraction. You have made it impossible for him to feel the urge to return because you are already standing right next to him, anxiously waiting for validation. This is why silence is so powerful and yet so terrifying. When he pulls back, whether he stops texting, becomes distant, or ghosts you entirely, you must have the courage to stand still. You must hold your end of the rubber band firmly and not move. In fact, the most powerful move you can make is to lean back yourself. When you stay put or when you pull back into your own life, the rubber band stretches. The tension builds, and because you aren't chasing him, he starts to feel that pull. He feels the distance, and suddenly the physics of the relationship change. He realizes that if he doesn't snap back, the band might break. He realizes that you aren't just going to follow him wherever he drifts. This creates urgency. This is the moment he realizes that your presence is not a guarantee. The rubber band theory dictates that men cycle through intimacy. They get close, they feel engulfed, they pull away to feel like of themselves again, and then if you let them, they spring back with renewed desire. But they can only spring back if you give them the room to do so. If you stop contacting him, you are essentially tightening that rubber band. You are creating the tension that creates the spark. It feels scary to let him drift, trust the physics of attraction. The further he stretches without you chasing, the faster and harder he will eventually snap back. Why you feel like you're dying, we have talked about his brain, and we have talked about the physics of the relationship. But we need to take a moment to talk about you, because knowing the theory is one thing. Living through the silence is another. When you decide to stop contacting him, or when he stops contacting you, it doesn't just feel like a strategy. It feels like physical pain. You might feel a tightness in your chest. You might feel a pit in your stomach. You might find yourself checking your phone every 3 minutes, hoping for a notification that isn't there, feeling a crash of disappointment every time the screen is blank. I want you to know you are not crazy, and you are not weak for feeling this way. What you are experiencing is a chemical withdrawal. It is a biological event. When you were connecting with him, your brain was receiving hits of oxytocins, the bonding hormone, and dopamine, the pleasure hormone. You were literally high on the connection. Now that the communication has stopped, your brain is in a state of deficit. It is screaming for its fix. That urge you feel to text him, that voice in your head saying, I'll just send something funny, or I just need to know he's alive. That is not your intuition talking. That is your addiction talking. That is your brain trying to soothe its own anxiety. The reason you feel like you are dying is because evolutionarily, separation from our tribe or our mate meant death. Your primitive brain perceives his silence as a threat to your survival. But here is the reframe I want you to hold on to during these difficult days. This pain is not a sign that you should reach out. This pain is a sign that you are detoxing. Think of it like a fever. When you have a fever, your body is burning off the infection. It feels terrible, but the heat means your body is working. The anxiety you feel right now is the fever of your attachment breaking. You are reclaiming your emotional sovereignty. Every time you pick up your phone to text him and then put it back down without sending anything, you are getting stronger. You are rewiring your brain to realize that you are safe, you are whole, and you are okay without his constant validation. You must ride out this wave. The withdrawal symptoms will pass. The chemical craving will fade. And on the other side of this pain is a version of you that is calm, centered, and incredibly powerful. Do not break the silence to soothe the addiction. Let the fever break, and you will wake up with a clarity you haven't felt in months. Inside his mind, the timeline of silence, stage 1, the relief phase, days 1, fever. Now that you have committed to the silence, you are likely asking the most painful question of all, is he missing me yet? You are sitting there 3 days into no contact, staring at a blank screen, wondering if he is suffering the same way you are. You want to believe that the moment you stopped texting, he fell into a pit of despair. You want to believe he is pacing his living room, regretting his choices. I need to be incredibly honest with you right now because I want you to succeed. And to succeed, you must know the truth. In the first few days, usually from day 1 to day 5, he is not missing you. In fact, he is feeling the exact opposite. He is feeling relief, I know. That feels like a punch to the gut. It hurts to hear that the person you love is relieved to be away from you. But please stay with me because this phase is not bad news. It is actually a necessary chemical detox that sets the stage for his return. You see, leading up to this silence, there was likely tension. There was emotional noise. Maybe you were asking for more time. Maybe you were arguing, or maybe he just felt the heavy unspoken pressure of your expectations. To a man who values autonomy, which is most men, that pressure feels like a heavy backpack he has been hiking with for miles. When you stop contacting him, he doesn't feel lost yet. He feels like he just took that heavy backpack off. He stretches his shoulders. He takes a deep breath. He thinks, finally, I have some space. I don't have to answer to anyone. I can just play video games, go out with the guys, or sleep in without feeling guilty. He interprets your silence as you finally getting the hint or simply being busy. His ego is still fully intact. He tells himself she'll be back. She always comes back. I'll just enjoy this quiet time for a few days before she texts me again. During these first 5 days, he is coasting on arrogance. He is confident that he holds all the cards. He thinks he won the power struggle. This is where 90% of women fail. They get to day 3 or 4, they feel the crushing weight of his indifference and they panic. They think, if I hasn't reached out, he's forgetting me. If I don't text him now, he'll drift away forever. So they break the silence. They send a casual text. And the moment they do that, confirm his arrogance. They prove him right. They pick up the heavy backpack and strap it right back onto his shoulders, and his relief turns into annoyance. But you are going to do something different. You are going to let him have his relief. You are going to let him enjoy his freedom. Why? Because you cannot miss water until you are thirsty. And you cannot feel thirsty if someone is constantly holding a water bottle to your lips. Let him have his days of freedom. Let him think he won. Let him lower his guard. Because right now, he is relaxed. He is not defensive. He is not building walls against you because he doesn't think he needs to. He has no idea that the relief he is feeling right now is actually a trap. He doesn't know that this freedom is about to turn into a vacuum that will eventually suck him right back in. He is enjoying the silence, but he has no idea how loud that silence is about to get. Stage 2, the curiosity creep days 6-4 feeder. This is where the magic begins to happen. We enter stage 20, the curiosity creep. This typically happens between day 6 and day 14. Up until now, he has been operating on the assumption that you are the one who needs him. He has been resting in the certainty that you are just waiting for him to snap his fingers. But now, a week has passed, maybe 10 days, and his phone is still silent. The relief phase begins to wear off. The novelty of his freedom starts to fade. He has played video games. He has gone out with his friends. He has slept in. And now he sits down on his couch, looks at his phone, and a strange itching thought enters his mind. Wait a minute. Why hasn't she texted me? This is the first crack in his ego. He expected you to cave. He expected you to send that meme or that I miss you text or even an angry paragraph. He was prepared for your attention. He was banking on it, but you haven't given it to him. Now, instead of feeling relief, he starts to feel confused. Men are creatures of pattern. If you use to text him every morning or every other day, and suddenly that pattern breaks, his brain sends out an error code. It's like walking down a staircase in the dark and missing a step. It jolts him awake. He starts to check your social media. He looks to see if you've viewed his stories. He checks to see if you're online on WhatsApp. He is looking for signs of life. He is looking for reassurance that you are still obsessing over him. If you are doing this correctly, if you are maintaining true silence and not posting sad quotes or trying to get his attention, he finds nothing. This is where the curiosity creep takes over. He starts to wonder, is she seeing someone else?
Did she meet a guy at work? Is she married?
Or worse, is she actually over me? Notice the shift in power here. In stage 1, he was the main character in the movie. He was the prize. Now, suddenly, the camera has shifted to you. You have become the mystery. You have become the question mark that he cannot answer. During this phase, you might see what we call subconscious reach outs. He might watch your story immediately after you post it. He might like an old photo. He might post a song that he knows you like. Do not be fooled. These are not real attempts to connect. These are ping tests. He is like a submarine sending out a sonar ping to see if anything bounces back. He wants to see if you will jump at the crumb of attention. If you react to these crumbs, you reset the clock back to day 1. You relieve his curiosity and he goes back to feeling safe and indifferent. But if you ignore these pings, if you continue to let the silence stretch, his confusion turns into mild anxiety. His ego takes a bruise. He starts to realize that perhaps he isn't as irresistible as he thought. He starts to realize that you are not just a sure thing. This is the moment he stops looking at you as a burden and starts looking at you as a challenge. He isn't in love yet, but he is intrigued. And in the male brain, intrigue is the precursor to attraction. He is no longer looking at the exit door. He is now looking at you, wondering who this new, silent, mysterious woman is. Stage 3, the panic point. Weeks 3, 4, now we arrive at the most critical juncture. This is the panic point. This usually occurs around the 3 to 4 week mark. I know 3 weeks feels like an eternity when you are missing someone, but biologically, this is the amount of time it takes for a man's emotional habits to break and for reality to set in. By this point, the relief is dead. The curiosity has turned into something heavier. Now, he is entering a state of fear of loss. Up until now, he thought this was temporary. He thought he was on a break. But as the weeks roll into a month, the reality hits him. She is actually gone. I might have lost her for good. This is where a powerful psychological phenomenon kicks in called fading effect bias. This is a fancy term for a simple mechanism. The human brain is wired to forget negative emotions faster than positive ones. In the beginning, a stage when he remembered the nagging, the pressure, the arguments, those memories were fresh and they annoyed him. But after 3 or 4 weeks of silence, those negative memories have faded. They have lost their emotional sting. And guess what replaces them? The good memory. Suddenly, he isn't thinking about how you got annoyed that he was late. He is thinking about how your hair smelled. He is thinking about the inside jokes. He is thinking about intimacy. He is thinking about the comfort he felt when he was with you. Silence acts as a scrub for his memory. It washes away the irritation and leaves behind the gold. This is when the nostalgia hits him like a freight train. He walks past a restaurant you used to go to and he feels a pang in his chest. He sees a show you watched together and he instinctively reaches for his phone to tell you, only to realize he can't. This is the panic point because he realizes that his freedom has come at a terrible cost. He has traded connection for isolation. The silence that felt like a relief in week 1 now feels like a prison in week 4. It feels deafening. He starts to feel the vacuum of your absence. And nature abhors a vacuum. He wants to fill it. This is usually when he will begin to draft the text. He might type it out and delete it. He might call you and hang up. He is wrestling with his pride. His pride says, don't chase her. But his fear says, if you don't do something now, she's going to be gone forever. For you, this is the hardest time to wait because you have been suffering for weeks. You feel like giving up. You think, It's been a month. He clearly doesn't care. But you are wrong. It is because it has been a month that he is caring the most. It is precisely because the time has stretched this long that he is finally feeling the weight of the loss. If you break now, if you crack and text him just as he is reaching this panic point, you relieve all that pressure. You save him from the fear. You show him, don't worry, you didn't lose me. I was here waiting all along. And just like that, the panic dissolves and he goes back to being complacent. You must let him sit in this panic. You must let him feel the coldness of the bed without you. You must let him confront the reality of a life where you do not exist. It is this fear, this genuine fear of losing you permanently, that forces him to stop taking you for granted and start valuing you as a necessity. Stage 4, the comparison crisis. There is one final fear we must address because I know it is keeping you awake at night. The fear that while you are applying this silence, he is out there meeting someone new. You think, if I'm not talking to him, won't he just find a replacement? Won't he just move on? Let's say he does go on a date. Let's say he downloads a dating app. He swipes, he matches, maybe he even goes out for a drink. You are terrified of this scenario, but I am here to tell you this is actually your secret weapon. Why? Because new dating is exhausting. New dating is awkward. It's small talk. It's trying to impress someone. It's explaining your job and your siblings and your favorite color for the 100th time. It is high effort and low reward. When he is sitting across the table from this new woman, do you know what his brain is doing? It is comparing her to you. He is thinking, she doesn't have her laugh. She doesn't get my jokes like she did. I have to try so hard with this girl. With her, it was just easy. Your silence has turned you into the fantasy standard because you aren't there to be real and messy and human. You become a perfect memory in his mind. And this new girl, she is real and she is awkward and she is a stranger. She cannot compete with the deep comfort and bond he had with you. In fact, going on a bad date with someone else is often the fastest way to drive him back to you. It highlights exactly what he lost. It shows him that the grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is actually fake turf and it feels scratchy. He realizes that the freedom to date other people is actually just the freedom to be disappointed. So do not fear him trying to replace you. Let him try it. Let him go out there, realize how cold the world is. Let him realize that the connection you shared is rare and not easily duplicated. Your absence makes you the benchmark. And the more he compares, the more he realizes that the woman he is ignoring is actually the woman he wants. The art of value, silence, Vez, the silent treatment. Now that you understand the timeline of his experience, we need to refine your execution because there is a trap here. Many women here stop contacting him and they interpret it as punish him. They think the goal is to be cold, to be mean, or to play a game of who cares less. But there is a massive energetic difference between the silent treatment and high value silence. And trust me, men can smell the difference from a mile away. The silent treatment is an act of aggression. It is a form of emotional manipulation. It says, I am hurt, I am angry, and I'm going to ignore you until you beg for forgiveness. Even though you aren't speaking, the energy you are projecting is loud. It screams of resentment. It screams of bitterness. And paradoxically, it screams of attachment. When you give a man the silent treatment, you are still centering him. You are still revolving your world around his reaction. You are checking your phone to see if your punishment is working. He feels this. He feels the jagged edges of your anger. And instead of making him miss you, it makes him defensive. It confirms to him that you are difficult or drama, and it actually pushes him further away because nobody wants to return to a house that is on fire. High value silence is completely different. High value silence is not about him. It is about you. It is not an act of punishment. It is an act of self-preservation. It says, I respect myself too much to chase someone who isn't matching my effort. So I'm going to take all the energy I was pouring into you and I am going to pour it back into my own cup. This silence is peaceful. It is calm. It isn't jagged. It is smooth. When you practice high value silence, you aren't ignoring him to teach him a lesson. You are ignoring him because you are genuinely busy building a life that you love. You aren't sitting by the phone fuming. You are out in the world living. Men are incredibly intuitive when it comes to energy. When a woman is just acting silent but is internally screaming, he feels the pressure. But when a woman genuinely steps back because she knows her worth, that feels like a vacuum. That feels like a true absence. There is no anger for him to fight against. There is just nothing. There is just the empty space where your warmth used to be. And that is terrifying to him. So check your mindset. If you are doing this to make him pay, you are still playing his game. But if you're doing this to get yourself back, you become magnetic. High value silence communicates, I am the prize. And the prize does not chase the winner. It shifts you from a bitter ex-lover to a mysterious, dignified goddess who simply glided away because the standard wasn't met. That is the kind of woman a man regrets losing. The digital ghost social media strategy in the modern world, silence is not just about not texting. It is about your digital footprint. You cannot disappear if you are posting 12 Instagram stories a day. You cannot be a mystery if you are broadcasting your breakfast, your gym workout, and your late night thoughts to the world. To make him truly miss you, you must become a digital ghost. The biggest mistake I see women make during the no contact phase is the look how happy I am strategy. They panic, so they start over posting. They post sexy selfies, they thirst traps. They post videos of them partying with friends, post quotes about leveling up. They think this shows him what he's missing, but actually it shows him that he is still the center of your universe. If you are posting specifically for him to see it, he knows. He knows that selfie was for him. He knows that song lyric was a subliminal message. And as long as he knows you are performing for an audience of one, he feels safe. He knows he still has you. To be a digital ghost, you need to do the unthinkable, go dark. Stop posting. Stop updating your status. And most importantly, and this is the hardest part, stop viewing his stories. When his name pops up on your viewed list, it is a hit of dopamine for him. It tells him she's still watching, she's still lurking, she's still obsessing. It gives him validation without him having to do a single thing. When you stop viewing his stories, you send a shockwave through his ego. He posts something, he checks the views, and you aren't there. He wonders, did she block me? Is she too busy? Did she delete the app? Is she over me? That question mark is powerful. And regarding your own posts, if you disappear from his feed, his imagination starts to run wild. He doesn't know where you are. He doesn't know who you are with. He doesn't know if you are sad or happy. The imagination is a far more powerful tool of seduction than any selfie you could ever post. Let him imagine you looking beautiful. Let him imagine you having fun. Don't hand him the visual proof. Make him wonder. Make him crave the update that isn't coming. In a world of oversharing, privacy is the ultimate power move. Energetic Tay's letting go mentally. Finally, we must discuss the quantum aspect of silence. This might sound a bit spiritual, but it is grounded in the psychology of attachment. Have you ever had a moment where you were thinking about someone intensely for weeks and they never called? And then the moment you truly let go, the moment you got busy, met someone else, or just stopped caring, their name popped up on your phone. This happens because of energetic ties. When you are sitting on your couch, staring at the wall, willing him to call you, you are sending out a signal. It is a signal of heavy, dense, needy energy. You are energetically grasping at him. Even if you aren't texting him, if your mind is obsessed with him, he can feel the weight of that expectation. He might not know why, but he will feel crowded by you, even from miles away. He won't feel the urge to reach out because he can subconsciously feel that you are still right there, waiting in the energetic lobby of his life. To make this work, you have to cut the cord. You have to let go mentally. You need to reach a point of detachment. This means waking up in the morning and forcing your first thought to be about you, not him. It means catching yourself when you start fantasizing about his return and gently redirecting your focus to your own goals, your own body, your own day. You have to genuinely reach a place where you think, I hope he calls, but if he doesn't, I am going to have an amazing life regardless. When you reach that state of true indifference, energetic cord snaps, the tension releases, and suddenly he feels the shift, he feels the vacuum, the heavy energy that was pushing on him is gone, and he feels a sudden, inexplicable urge to see where you went. This is the hardest part of the process because you cannot fake it, you cannot pretend to not care so that he will come back. You have to actually do the work to de-center him from your life. You have to become the protagonist of your own movie again. When you stop being an extra in his film and start starring in your own, he will naturally want to audition for a role in yours. But he can't do that until you stop mentally chasing him. Her transformation, the glow up detoxing the desperation. We have spent a lot of time talking about his brain, his timeline, and his reactions. But now we need to do the most important work of all. We need to talk about your internal world, because here is the truth. You can follow every rule. You can stay silent for 30 days and you can hide your Instagram stories. But if you are doing all of this while internally screaming with desperation, you are building a house on quicksand. You might get him back, but you will lose him again the moment you revert to that anxious state. To truly win, not just the game, but the war for your own happiness, you must detox the desperation. Desperation is a heavy, sticky energy. It comes from a belief that says, I am empty and he is the only thing that can fill me. When you operate from this place, you become an emotional vampire. You are constantly looking to him to regulate your nervous system. If he texts, you are happy. If he doesn't, you are crushed. You have handed him the remote control to your emotions. It is time to take the remote control back. This starts with regulating your own nervous system. When you feel that wave of panic, urge to check up on him, I want you to recognize it for what it is. It is not love. It is an anxiety spike. It is your inner child crying out because she feels abandoned. Instead of reaching for the phone to fix that feeling, I want you to reach for yourself. This sounds simple, but it is profound. When the panic hits, put your hand on your heart, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what do I actually need right now? Usually the answer is not, I need a text from Brian. The answer is, I need to feel safe, or I need to feel worthy. You can give that to yourself. You must become your own source of soothing. Go for a walk, run cold water over your wrists to shock your vagus nerve and calm your anxiety. Journal the scary thoughts out of your head and onto paper so they stop looping. This process is called moving from anxious attachment to secure autonomy. Anxious attachment chases, secure autonomy attracts. A secure woman knows that she is okay whether he comes back or not. She knows that her value is not up for negotiation. She doesn't need him to tell her she is beautiful. She owns a mirror. She doesn't need him to tell her she is interesting. She has a life full of interest. When you detox the desperation, you stop being a bucket with a hole in it that he constantly has to fill. You become a fountain that is overflowing on its own. Men are drawn to fountains. They are drawn to women who are full of life, not women who are starving for attention. This detox is painful at first. It feels like learning to walk again. But once you learn how to soothe your own anxiety, you become dangerous. You become powerful. Because once you no longer need him to survive, you are finally free to simply want him. And that is a very different, very magnetic energy, becoming the ungettable girl. Once you have detoxed the immediate desperation, we move to the reconstruction phase. We are going to build a new identity for you. We are going to turn you into the ungettable girl. The term ungettable doesn't mean you are arrogant, cold, or aloof. It doesn't mean you are stuck up. It simply means that you are the destination, not the waiting room. For too long, you have been the waiting room. You have put your life on pause, keeping your schedule clear just in case he wants to see you. You have kept your phone sound on loud, jumping at every vibration. You have made yourself small so that he would have room to fit. The ungettable girl does the opposite. She is the main character of her own movie. Imagine a woman who is deeply in love with her own life. She has a job she cares about or a hobby she is obsessed with. She has friends who make her laugh until her stomach hurts. She has books she wants to read and places she wants to travel to. She takes care of her body, not to impress a man, but because it feels good to be strong. This woman is happy. She is complete. Now imagine a man comes along. He is a nice addition to her life, but he is not the whole life. If he steps up and treats her like a queen, he gets to be part of her amazing world. If he steps back or plays games, she doesn't crumble. She simply shrugs and says, "That's a shame. He's missing out," and she goes back to her amazing life. That attitude is the most attractive force on the planet. Men are hunters. They want to feel like they have won a prize. If the prize is sitting on the doorstep begging to be taken, it has no value. But if the prize is high up on a pedestal, busy glowing and living, he feels a drive to climb up there and reach it. During this period of silence, I want you to visualize this version of yourself. How does the ungettable version of you wake up in the morning? Does she grab her phone immediately to check for texts? No. She stretches. She drinks water. She plays her favorite music. She gets dressed in clothes that make her feel powerful. What does she do on a Friday night? Does she sit at home crying because he didn't call? No. She goes to a salsa class. She cooks a new recipe. She goes to the movies alone because she enjoys her own company. You must act like this woman until you become this woman. This is not a trick to get him back. This is an upgrade to your operating system. When you genuinely believe that you are a catch, when you truly internalize that he is the lucky one for getting a moment of your time, your vibe shifts, you stop shrinking, you start expanding. And the irony is, the moment you become truly ungettable, the moment you realize you don't need him to be happy, is usually the exact moment he realizes he cannot live without you, because he sees a woman who respects herself. And a man cannot love a woman he does not respect. The magnetism of mystery, we have rebuilt your internal world. Now, let's talk about how you present that world to him, or rather how you don't. We live in a culture that tells us to be open books. We are told that vulnerability means sharing every thought, every fear, and every movement. But in the early stages of attraction, and especially during the re-attraction phase you are in now, being an open book is a mistake. If he can read the whole book in one sitting, he gets bored. He puts it back on the shelf. To make him miss you, you must master the magnetism of mystery. Think about a dense, beautiful forest. Why is it exciting to explore? Because you can't see everything. There are winding paths. There are hidden clearings. You don't know what is around the next corner. That creates a sense of adventure. Now think about a flat, empty parking lot. You can see everything from the entrance. There are no surprises. It is safe, predictable, and incredibly boring. When you overshare, when you tell him exactly where you are, who you are with, how you are feeling, and what you are doing every hour of the day, you become the parking lot. You need to become the forest. This brings us back to the silence. When you stop contacting him, you create a narrative gap. He used to know your routine. He knew that at 600 p.m. you got home from work. He knew that at 10:00 p.m. you were watching Netflix. But now he doesn't know. And because he doesn't know, his brain has to work to fill in the gaps. Is she at the gym? Is she out for dinner? Who is she with? Is she wearing that red dress I like? This is crucial. Do not give him the map. If you run into him, or if you eventually talk, which we will cover in the next chapter, keep things vague. If he asks, what have you been up to? Do not give him an itinerary. Do not say, well, Monday I was sad and Tuesday I went to the grocery store and Wednesday I watched TV. Instead, smile and say, oh, I've been so busy lately. Lots of exciting new things going on. Life is really good. See the difference. You gave him nothing, yet you implied everything. You implied that your life is full, exciting, and moving forward without him. This creates an intense curiosity gap. He wants to know what the new things are. He wants to know why you are smiling. He feels left out. Men want to be the ones who discover you. They want to peel back the layers slowly. When you keep parts of your life hidden, your private thoughts, your new hobbies, your social plans, you increase your value. You signal that access to you is a privilege, not a right. Mystery is not about lying. It is about privacy. It is about keeping the richest parts of your inner world for yourself and only sharing them with people who have earned the right to be there. By holding back, you force him to lean in. You force him to ask questions. You force him to pursue. You are not a puzzle to be solved in 5 minutes. You are a masterpiece to be studied over a lifetime. Let him wonder. Let him guess. The more he thinks about you, trying to figure you out, deeper he falls. The re-engagement when he comes back, the breadcrumb test. So you have done the work, you have endured the silence, you have detoxed the desperation. And then it happens. You are sitting at work, or maybe you are out with friends and your phone buzzes. You look down and your heart stops. It's his name. After weeks of silence, he has finally reached out. Your immediate instinct is to celebrate. You think it worked. He misses me. I need to reply right now so I don't lose him again. The dopamine rushes to your brain and your thumbs start hovering over the keyboard. Stop. Put the phone down before you reply. You need to analyze what he actually sent, because 99% of the time, after a period of no contact, a man does not come back with a Shakespearean love letter. He does not come back with a dozen roses and an apology. He comes back with a breadcrumb. A breadcrumb is a low effort, vague text designed to check if you are still on the hook. It usually looks like this. Hey, what's up? Long time no see. Saw this and thought of you. So, meme attached. This is not a grand romantic gesture. This is a ping test. He is feeling the silence we discussed in chapter 2, and his ego is getting anxious. He wants to know if he still has access to you. He wants to know if the door is still unlocked. He is throwing a crumb of bread on the ground to see if the pigeons see you will run over and peck at it. If you reply immediately, if you send back a paragraph saying, oh my God, I've missed you so much, how are you? You have failed the test. You have eaten the crumb. In that split second, all the mystery you built over the last few weeks evaporates. He realizes, oh, she wasn't busy. She wasn't moving on. She was just sitting there waiting for me. His anxiety disappears. His ego is stroked, and often he will disappear again shortly after because he got the validation he needed. You must understand a breadcrumb is not a request for a relationship. It is a request for validation. Do not be the woman who sells her soul for a hey. If you receive a low effort text, you must treat it like what it is, low effort. Do not project meaning onto it that isn't there. He isn't professing his undying love. He is checking the temperature. This is the most dangerous phase of the entire process. You have survived the starvation of silence, so you are desperate to eat. But if you settle for crumbs now, you will never get the full meal. You have to be willing to stare at that. Hey, text and realize it is below your pay grade. You have to be willing to risk losing the crumb to get the cake. He needs to know that access to you is no longer free. The price has gone up, and a lazy text message is no longer enough currency to buy your time. How to respond? So, how do you handle the breadcrumb? Do you ignore it forever? Not necessarily. If your goal is to actually re-engage and potentially fix the relationship, ignoring him forever can eventually signal bitterness. We want to signal unbothered, not agree. To do this, we use the mirror technique. The rule is simple: matches investment. Subtract 10%. If he sends a 3-word text, oh, hey, what's up? You do not send a 30-word paragraph. You send 3 words back. Or if he waits 3 hours to text you, you wait 3 hours to text him back. You are a mirror. You reflect exactly what he gives you, but you keep it slightly cooler. You are polite, but you are not enthusiastic. You are warm, but you are brief. Let's look at an example. He texts, hey stranger, long time no see. The old you would have said, hey, I know, I've missed you. How have you been? We should catch up soon. So this is too eager. It rewards his low effort. The new you waits a few hours. She finishes a gym workout. She eats dinner. Then she replies, hey, hope you're good. That's it. No questions.
No, I miss you.
No, let's hang out. You have acknowledged him politely, but you have not chased him powerful. You have hit the ball back over the net, but you didn't run around to his side to help him hit it back. Now, the burden of conversation is back on him. If he wants to talk to you, he has to work for it. He has to ask a question. If he replies with something lazy again, like, yeah, I'm good, You can leave that on read. That conversation has died. It went nowhere. But usually when you use the mirror technique, he senses the shift. He senses that you aren't desperate to keep the conversation going. This triggers his hunter instinct again. He realizes he has to step up. So he might say, I was wondering if you wanted to grab coffee this week. Now we are getting somewhere. But even then, use the Busey goddess tone. Don't say, yes, whenever you want. I'm free all week. Say, I'd love to. I'm pretty tied up this week with work and how hobby, but I could do Thursday evening or maybe Sunday morning. This communicates that your life is full. You are fitting him into your schedule. You are not clearing your schedule for him. The tone you are aiming for is happily moving on. You are happy to hear from him, but you were also happy before he texted. You are not punishing him, but you are certainly not waiting for him. You are a train that is moving out of the station. He can jump on if he buys a ticket, but you are not stopping the train to wait for him to tie his shoelaces. The earn it phase, this final section of the re-engagement, is where you secure your future. Let's say the mirror technique worked. He asked you out. You are seeing him again. The temptation now is to slide right back into your old slot as his girlfriend, or almost girlfriend. You want to go back to sleeping over, cooking for him, and being his emotional support system immediately. Do not do this. You are not the same woman he left. That woman was anxious. That woman was available. That woman accepted crumbs. You have spent the last month upgrading yourself. You have new boundaries. You have new self-esteem. If you let him slide back into all the benefits of a relationship without him doing any of the work, he will lose respect for you instantly. He will think, wow, that was easy. I can leave her for a month, come back with one text, and I get everything back. He needs to feel that he is starting over with you. He is back at level 1. This is the earn it phase. He has to court you again. He has to win you over. When you go on that first date after the silence, keep it short. Look amazing, be incredibly fun and charming, laugh at his jokes, but end the date early. Go home to your own bed. Do not sleep with him immediately. Intimacy creates a chemical bond that blinds you to reality. You need to keep your eyes open. You need to see if he is actually changing his behavior or if he is just lonely. Let him initiate the next date. Let him plan it. If he stops trying, you stop responding. You are observing him like a scientist. You are asking yourself, is this man adding value to my life? Is he respecting my time? Is he showing me that he values me? If he brings up the silence or asks why you disappeared, do not apologize. Do not say, I was just trying to get you to miss me. Smile and say, I just realized I had been neglecting myself a bit. So I took some time to refocus on my goals. It was really good for me. This is the most attractive thing you can say. It shows that you prioritize your own well-being. It shows that you are not afraid to walk away to heal. By making him earn it, you are doing him a favor. Men value what they work for. If he has to plan dates, pursue you, and prove his consistency to get your time, he will value that time infinitely more. He will feel proud that he won you back. This sets a new precedent for the relationship. It tells him, I am a high value woman. If you want to be with me, you have to show up. If you step back, I won't chase you. I will just replace you with my own amazing life. This is how you turn a temporary reunion into a permanent shift in power and respect. You don't just want him back. You want him to treat you better. And that only happens if you make him earn the privilege of your love. Advanced psychology, making it permanent, the fear of loss veers. The joy of gain, we have reached a pivotal moment in your journey. If you have followed the steps, he is back. He is intrigued. He is pursuing it. You have successfully used the silence to wake him up. But here is a warning that separates the women who get a text from the women who get a ring. You cannot build a marriage on the fear of loss. Fear is a powerful spark, but is a terrible fuel. Initially, he came back because he was afraid. He was afraid you were gone. He was afraid someone else would take you. He was afraid of the vacuum your absence created. This fear is useful for jump-starting a dead car, but if you try to run the car in fear forever, the engine will explode. If you continue to be cold, distant, and overly hospitable, even after he has stepped up and shown consistency, he will eventually burn out. He will feel like he can never win. He will feel like you are punishing him indefinitely, and eventually he will leave again, not out of boredom, but out of exhaustion. So how do we make this permanent? We must transition his motivation from the fear of loss to the joy of gain. Once he has proven himself, once he has planned the dates, initiated the texts, and shown you respect, you need to slowly lower the bridge. You need to let the warmth back in. You need to teach him that when he steps forward, he wins. Think of it as positive reinforcement. When he disappears or gives you crumbs, you give him silence as a cold. But when he gives you consistency and love, you give him warmth and joy. You want him to associate his effort with feeling good. When he plans a great date, tell him, I had such an amazing time with you tonight. You really know how to make me smile. That sentence triggers a dopamine hit in his brain. He thinks, I did good. I am successful with her. This creates a positive loop. He wants to feel that winner feeling again, so he plans another date. The goal of the silence was to reset the dynamic, but the goal of the relationship is connection. You don't want to be an ice queen forever. You want to be a warm, loving partner, but only to a man who is standing right in front of you, matching your energy. Transitioning to the joy of gain means showing him that life with you is better than life without you, not just because he's scared to lose you, but because being around you feels like sunshine. You are fun, you are light, you are appreciative. When he realizes that the admission, his effort buys him the prize, say you're warm, he will happily pay that price every single day. He won't be chasing you out of anxiety anymore. He will be pursuing you out of devotion. That is the foundation of a love that lasts a lifetime. The new normal, maintaining autonomy, the final piece of the puzzle, is future-proofing your relationship. The biggest tragedy I see is this: a woman uses silence. She gets the guy back. Everything is wonderful, and then 6 months later, she is back in the exact same position. She is anxious, he is distant, and she is wondering what went wrong. What went wrong is that she slid back into the merge. The merge is when you take two separate lives and mash them into one. You stop seeing your friends because you want to be available for him. You stop going to your painting class because he wants to watch a movie. You stop having your own thoughts because you are too busy analyzing his. You slowly dismantle the pedestal you built for yourself, and you sit back down in the waiting room. And inevitably, the moment you become fully available again, his attraction dips. The rubber band goes slack. To make this permanent, you must establish a new normal. This new normal requires you to be just enough unavailable forever. This isn't a game, it is a lifestyle. It means that no matter how much you love him, and no matter how long you have been married, you never surrender your autonomy. You must keep a slice of the pie for yourself. Pie, he can be a big slice. He can be a huge slice, but he cannot be the whole pie. You need a slice for your career, a slice for your girlfriends, a slice for your health, a slice for your spiritual growth. When you maintain these other slices, you remain mysterious, you remain fresh. When you come home from a weekend trip with your girls, you have new stories to tell him. You have new energy. You are bringing something into the relationship rather than just taking from it. This maintenance of autonomy communicates a silent message to his primitive brain. She chooses me, but she doesn't need me to survive. That is the sexiest message a man can receive. It keeps him on his toes. It keeps him feeling like he needs to keep winning, you even 10 years down the line. So make a vow to yourself right now. As things get better with him, do not cancel your gym membership. Do not stop reading. Do not stop dreaming your own dreams. Your independence was the thing that saved you when he left. And your independence is the thing that will keep him when he returns. Never apologize for having a life that you love. A high-value man wants a high-value partner, not a shadow. By holding on to your own world, you give him the space to miss you, the space to admire you, and the space to love you for exactly who you are, a woman who is whole, complete, and magnetic, with or without him. This is not just about getting a text back. This is about reclaiming your power. And once you have that, you will never have to chase anyone ever again. Final secret, you were the prize all along. We have covered a lot of ground today. We traveled from the anxiety of the waiting room through the psychology of the male mind, and finally into the power of your own autonomy. But before you go, I want to leave you with one final thought, a secret that overrides everything else. Throughout this video, we talked about getting him back. We talked about making him miss you. We talked about triggering his desire. And while all of that is real and all of that works, it is actually a byproduct of a much bigger truth. The truth is this journey was never really about him. The silence wasn't about punishing him. The detox wasn't about manipulating him. Glow up wasn't about impressing him. It was about you. It was about you remembering who you were before you started shrinking yourself to fit into his pocket. It was about you remembering that you are a woman of depth of value and of mystery. When you stop contacting him, you aren't just creating a vacuum in his life. You are creating space in your own life, space for your dreams, space for your peace, space for the kind of love that doesn't make you question your worth. You were the prize all along. You just forgot to put yourself on the pedestal. When you finally see that, when you finally look in the mirror and see a woman who is complete with or without a man, the irony is that he will see it too. He will see the glow. He will feel the shift, and he will realize that losing you would be the biggest mistake of his life. But by then, you will be so in love with your own life that you will be the one deciding if he is enough for you. Call to action if this video spoke to you today. If it helped calm the anxiety in your chest even a little bit, then I have a small favor to ask. We are building a community here of women who are done waiting and ready to start living. Women who are ready to reclaim their power in love and in life. If that sounds like you, please click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. I don't want you to navigate this journey alone, and in our next video, we are going to dive even deeper into the psychology of high value attraction. And I want to hear from you. Go to the comment section right now and tell me, I am reclaiming my power. Type it out. Make it a promise to yourself. Let the other women in the comments see it and support you. You are not alone in this silence. There are thousands of us walking this path with you. You are strong, you are magnetic, and you are worthy of being chased. Stop waiting for the text. Go live your life and watch how the world and him starts to gravitate towards you. I'll see you in the next video.